people dressed in white, and they said, see, they answered, all you didn't do is add on the answer. They said, you know who they are. This was an aborted idea, remember that? They knew that in the prophecy. We didn't realize that the generation we were raising would be classified, or like I would say out of my mouth, first fruit is faithful but not true. The first fruit is faithful but not true. I'm talking, not realizing I'm talking about the children. That the first fruit is faithful but not true. So the children that was the first generation of kids born to us would obey. They'll stay faithful. Some of them are still staunch Orthodox Muslims. But they're not true enough to follow us on into the path, right, of right knowledge. So the elders they were talking to were the elite or the Egigi speaking down to the Anunnaki, saying, you know who they are. They're the ones who have went through great tribulations and have washed themselves clean in the blood of the Lamb, which is symbolic of those people who were dirty. Because remember, you are from the seed of the disagreeable. Now, years ago, I explained to y'all about these webs. Right? I told y'all have webs, and that tells you, and you have gills if you once lived in water. That means that you're somewhere along the line, whether it's through breeding or cloning, there is the sea people inside of you. And the sea people are the Dragons, the Vulcans, and their other the name of their planet, right, was Meldick, which is spelled M-A-L-D-E-K. That's the planet that Nibiru, the ship, bumped into on its normal route, on its original orbit. It had an original orbit of 25,920 years. It would make a standard route. This large ship, it had 144,000 passengers, headed by 24 elders, right, was out searching the galaxy for other resources for their planet. They came out of Ilion, a planet called Riz, right, which is, Riz is the 8th planet, having 2 moons, right, in a galaxy that has 19 planets. You follow that? Come on, tell me about it.
Break it down,
and
break it down.
They are called the ship Nibiru that launched off. You call it a mothership. It was tremendous. It was as big as the planet Earth in diameter. You follow that? And it was on its way out searching for more planets with life, exploring, but in the universe instead of a planet. And that route that it was taken at that time was a very normal route, though it was counterclockwise to the planets that was in this solar system at the time. They never intended to crash into it. They didn't have a problem until it passed by Neptune, right? And Neptune swole because of electrical storms on it, right? And caused it to veer towards Neptune, and trying to pull away from Neptune, it bumped into the planet Meldick, which was later called Vulcan, right? Where these sea creatures lived, okay? And broke off part of it. The planet itself launched off 4 fighter ships, right? Sometimes described as 4 pieces of the planet of satellites at Nibiru. You follow that? Meanwhile, the planet Vulcan or Meldick went off further into outer space and became known as the Lost Planet. The beings on it, Dragons, there are many names for them, lived underwater. They called the serpent people. You follow that? They stood around 4 feet tall. They looked like they had gills. They had web hands, web feet. You follow that? They had very, very advanced societies under the water because they were on their planet. All right. These 4 ships launched at Nibiru with the intentions of destroying it. However, Nibiru had 4 force fields built within this mothership, and caught this planet in their force field and locked them, and had them revolving, right, on an axis. And they referred to them as the north, east, south, and west winds. All right? And then when Nibiru went on with its orbit, but it was wobbling now because of the crash in to Vulcan or Meldick caused damage So it launched all 3 ships to go back to Ilion and back to their planet to let them know that they could have danger, so that they would launch out other crafts to protect them. Within their fleet at this time, there were altogether 7 ships. And with the 3 going back, that would have been 10. You follow that? These 7 ships broke up into 2 parts, 3 and 4 fleets. And remember, you had 4 that was picked up from the Vulcans. And as this planet launched, went on further into its path, it passed by Saturn. You see that? And as it was moving, Saturn's planet Titan, it bumped into it, or as they say in ancient times, in ancient Sumu or Shumu, the ancient way to spell it is Shumu, right? It's called Ta-Neta in ancient Egypt, right? Same place, and that's Shumu is a way that they said Sumu, M-E-R, or Shinar, and that originally Shinar meant flat plains. Remember that, all right? So as it passed on by Saturn, it kissed off of Saturn, you follow? Or bumped into Titan as they have it, and then it was on a wobbly course. Okay? As it reached into the area near Haymak, which is the name that Earth was called because it had to do with sea and sea creatures, and this is the water planet, always known as the water planet. It has the most water, and then following it is Neptune. It had a lot of water, that's why it was called Neptune, right? This was Earth. Before it was Earth, it was like 2.5 to 3 times the size that it is today, which you have now. Earth at 7,126 diameter, 24,896 miles circumference, right? It wasn't that. It was just add that on twice and then add the diameter of the moon, right? And and you'll have your size of the planet. So these beings launched on into, space again, wobbling. These were the supreme beings on this ship, or you call them Elohims in the scripture, or Anunnakis. This was taking place 25 billion years ago.
Tell the people what time it is.
Or better yet, make it, because 24 something, make it 24 billion years ago when this was taking place. So you know how long ago this was before the normal Homo sapien came into existence, as you know, right? They passed on through, and a whole Star Wars took place in the coming into the atmosphere, right? Where the planet Haymak was having problems because it had 2 larger planets and 2 smaller planets on both sides of it, causing its atmosphere to be disoriented anyway. It always wobbled. It was uncertain because it was pulling from 2 smaller planets from the sun, right, which is Mercury and Venus, and then Mars and Jupiter, 2 larger on the outside, was causing its imbalances. So when Nibiru, the big craft, also referred to as a planet, came into its atmosphere, its sphere of attack launched from Haymak 11 crafts, warships, to attack Nibiru. All right? But remember, Nibiru had picked up and trapped 4 Meldic crafts or Vulcan crafts, and it was spinning right in its atmosphere as it went past Titan. As it's moving, these ships smashed, dead smack into Haymak and caused Haymak to break in half first. The other part of Haymak, which is called the upper and lower part, the lower part of Haymak, right, became what you call asteroids and was moving in a counterclockwise, you follow that, to your solar system, systematic motion, and started to fold and bend. All right, the 11 craft was immediately picked up by Nibiru and eliminated. They didn't have no effect whatsoever with their attempt. But the following craft, as the 1 craft from Vulcan smashed into Haymak and crashed into half, followed by another one that crashed into it and put a hole straight through it. And as that planet was going to go out of orbit, they had a fear of what's called a star holocaust. If that planet was pulled out of orbit, all the other planets could be caught up in the power of the pull of the sun and be drawn towards it, which was called Apsu at the time, the sun, way back then, and be drawn up to and destroy it. And the beings who crashed into it, these supreme beings, were responsible. They knew they were responsible for this crash. You follow that? And must do something about it. So from the Nibiru, remember I said 3 went back towards Risk in Elion, he had 4 of them locked on to the planet Haymak, creating, as I explained to you before, what's called a tetrahedron pyramid with one crack. This locked in on the planet. That hole was going through it. They had total control of it, and energy from each one of these here 4 crafts. You see it? And you draw it on the board, you see it. Locked it and gave Earth an atmosphere and bent it into its shape. It's more like an oval than a circle. The hole was penetrating in the center. You understand? The 11 crafts launched made the Vulcans, who were a part of the atmosphere, the last ship of it, the other one crashed, the last ship, assuming that they were being attacked by Haymak on behalf of Nibiru, not knowing that this was an error, immediately shot out a bolt of energy towards Haymak. This was condensed and trapped by the crafts of Nibiru and turned into what you'd know as ball lightning, for lack of another word, right? A large ball of energy, right? And sent and trapped right into the center, or they say into the belly of Haymak in ancient writings, in the ancient Sumer writings. And there they set up a 600-mile sun. You follow that? And screened it so that its lights would go off out of the hole in the northern region and create what you refer to as coronas, or the auroras, or the sun flares that they see. That is the heat, so that the heat is not centered in there, but it burnt out a crust inside there, and the waters that was in the center started seeping through, thus creating a very tropical environment, which became known as Shambhala, became known as Agrata. You know, various names were picked up a long time for this world center. So now this new planet, it has a diameter of 7,926 miles, a circumference of 24,000. Cut the diameter in half, right? And you'll come down to the radius, and the radius tells you where that sun sits. The sun was now trapped in here. This atmosphere was set. And the elders responsible for this, you follow, was guilty, right, for the crash, and made this their pet project. Thus 4 crafts were launched, called in Revelation 4 angels of 4 winds to hold the planet in fit form, they say. Was set off there to keep this planet from exploding, and has been there from generation to generation, all the way down to the book of Revelation, trying to keep it. Then they had a fear that the opening in the center of the earth with its own sun, of course, they, like I said, they called it Apsu at one time, right? Another word for it was Ishara, right? Would come in contact with the outer sun, and that would cause overheat, so they put another crystal city, a large craft called a crystal city, above the planet Earth, right on the outside of your spheres, to protect it, so when a hole gets in that direction, that crystal city or ship is over it, like you speak about in the Revelations in the 21st chapter. It's over it, and because of the crystal top, it reflects the lights away from the planet, and then they, of course, tilted the planet off its axis from a straight axis to a 23-degree axis, tilting it towards the right. Why? There's more right-handed people on the planet Earth than what they should be, which is ambidextrous. You can tell you should have been ambidextrous, right? And there's a reflection on the planet Earth where, because of that, people look different on one side than they do on the other. You think when you're looking at yourself that you look the same, but if you took a picture of one side of your face and took a picture of another side of your face, you'll see that because the left side of your body is weaker and less developed, the whole side of your face is. So they say, well, your left foot is a little smaller, your left eye might be a little more closed. That is because that is obviously a scientific error. For those who believe in a God, or Allah, or Elohim, or Adonai, or Yahweh, or whatever name you use, to believe that he made a mistake and made one side of your body larger than the other, one side of your body more agile or more, capable than the other, is to say that he made a mistake. So the mistake came in when the planet was tilted off its axis, and you can see that planet now on a 23-degree axis, right? You watch most people when they stop, human beings, when they stop, they lean and put all their weight on their right foot as opposed to the left, very rarely. So you do have people here who are left-handed because they're bred that way, because humans were ambidextrous, but numbers, 75 out of 100 people on the planet Earth are indeed right-handed as a result of this. And that was done to keep the planet because it wobbles. Earth does wobble. Then when the planet was set in its atmosphere, remember that last craft that I mentioned from the Vulcan sea creatures, right? It crashed down onto planet Earth. So remember, Nibiru went on to a new orbit. This new orbit became 3,600 miles, which made it 1 year to them. All right, a cycle course. So that last one crashed down on the planet Earth, and they did live and went into the water. And thus, you get your story of your evolutionary man coming out of the water, being half gill, and you are linked into that descendancy. And they were disagreeable people from that planet called Meldic. So you have more disagreeable people walking the planet. That's why you hold your hand up like this here in front of you and turn it around. You will see you have webs at the bottom of your finger. Right? If you realize that when you was in the womb of your mother, you was a tadpole, a fish, and you did have a tail, so at the end of your spinal column there is a slight bone, whether you want to attribute to the coccyx of the Europeans who have wide extending because they're on a lesser evolutionary scale than you are, and therefore their tail is longer. Your spinal column does curve to show that you once had a tail that came down, and you were once a sea creature because you could breathe underwater. And that's what they portrayed in that movie Abyss. And Abyss is another way of saying Apsu, which means a hole straight through something called hell. The Christians, the Muslims, and the so-called Jews say in hell there is a place beneath you where people burn. Of course, there's a sun there. And you know what I'm saying? If the screen of the sun is removed, people would burn. If the reflection of the lights from the center out was curved, of course, people down there would suffer and burn. So the ancient men who knew about it, the so-called learned men or the religious men, taught about it and called it hell. When you say the word hell, H-E-L-L, all you gotta do is put O on it and you get a slang, oh hell. But oh hell in the ancient Syriac and Aramic, which is, let's say, the Hebrew language, means tabernacle or tent, oh hell. And that was considered a tabernacle down there where Shimti was, S-I-M, Shimti, T-I, Shimti, which is a laboratory where a lot of scientific experiments were taking place that took what was affected by what was taking place on the planet Earth. And so once this was set up, the planet was put in place, and the elders felt the responsibility, and the Vulcans had crashed down in here, were living in the waters. They're talking about evolutionary time over millions of years and changing of command ships. You follow that? And life was started on planet Earth, a new form of life, because life that was here was burnt up by the crashes, the explosions, and the earthquakes that caused it to go out of water. When you cut a planet in half, almost all the life form is dead. It was later on that, I think it's about 11 billion years ago, right? That the moon, which was an independent planet, broke off from it. It got its name Kingu because the head of the fleet that launched out, which is the 11 fleets from the planet, Tiamat, was called Kingu, right? And their moon became known as Kingu or Shishki. It appears barren and waste, though present day and visited there by NASA to this day are beginning to realize that life did live there once. All these things are going to come out, that our ancient descendants, the Shumu people or Sumu people, like I said, evil known as Ta-Neten, right, knew all of these facts. And now the present day scientists and astronomers and astrologists and solar biologists and all the different ologists they want to learn are beginning to realize that when they say that this planet, Tiamat, picked up the name Ki, K-I, back then, and that K, when the Greeks got it, changed into a G, and that this I pronunciation became Geo, right? That's where they get geology, geometry, geometrics, etc., all that applied to that ancient Sumu word Ki, our ancient descendants, which I said before were tied into the ancient Egyptians. Ancient Egyptians got it from the ancient Shumu people when Mitzrayim, one of the sons of Ham's son, after the flood, moved over into Egypt and brought over the culture that was once over on this side. That's why you'll find over amongst the Sumer people, they have sphinx too. They have bull man, half man, half bull. They have the needles, the objects like Cleopatra's needle. They have the temples constructed the same way the architects constructed it. They bake stones and color their temples. And you can go to ancient Babylon, which is where the place was at the time, right? And you can see the temples are constructed the same way in a pyramid-like fashion. So the knowledge was really greater in Sumer and older, and then went over into Egypt as the same people, but then Egypt became a melting pot for Africa. So there's various different degrees of people and elders. These elders go back so long ago that this was way before prophecies of earth even came into existence. The prophecies came billions of years down the line. So when those elders were questioning about who are these people, they were talking about the fact that they longed for the day that the elders would collect their people off this planet. Because don't remember, 1,000 years ago is when they actually started planning the breeding of a being called Adam. And they call him Adam because Adam, you know, from the original language, Adama meant earthling or of the ground, of the red soil, or etc., 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 right, to be a worker for them. But they had been coming here for a long time. They call themselves the Anunnakis. And those that took Saturn as their home planet, because Saturn had a necklace around it, became known as the Anakis, or Anakites, because Anakite means those of the neck. And that was the ones who was of the disagreeable side of the family. Each one took a planet as their symbol. And that's why in ancient Sumer writings, you'll find that all of the birth of the planets are actually given names of people they recall or refer to as their gods or descendants. Anu, Enki, or Er, and An, etc., etc., etc. Any questions?
The size of that ship.
Which ship? Nibiru? How big was it?
Yeah.
It was as big as a planet. It was as big as the planet Earth is now. It itself, Nibiru, never bumped into Tamak. It was the 4 satellites, and those ships back then was tremendous. They bumped in repeatedly, one, and then the other put a hole straight through it. And the other one crashed down on it once it happened, but when Nibiru completed its cycle and came back down, this thing is still moving, it hit again. We're talking about periods of time in between each time that it hit, and the planet was going through its own changes and trying to revive itself. By the time they came back with a 3,600 year, bam, it hit again. And that was the formations in the world. What made what? What made those satellites crash? They were caught, as I said earlier, those satellite planets on Vulcan were caught by Nibiru, because Nibiru's ship had 4 units that could have magnetic powers working off, like I told you, tetrahedron science, like the Bermuda Triangle does. And once it got caught in it, it started turning them as a whirlwind, right? And those ships were moving. They became magnetic energy, which helped to create the force field around Nibiru, which was trapped in. Now, the thing is, Nibiru was navigating itself wobbly after bumping into Meldic or Vulcan, and then was being drawn into the solar system when it kissed off of Saturn and spun off again, then staring in. It never hit. Nibiru never really hit. It was the satellites that picked up that it can navigate for itself, but can navigate within which range between the force field and the actual craft of Nibiru in that circle of energy. There were those 4 Vulcan ships or Meldic ships, and they are the ones that crashed into Tamak. Nibiru continued on with its orbit outside this Earth, because it was a very common visit here. I told you before, because Mars had life, Jupiter had life. There's quite a few planets that had life forms here. Yeah. The 3 ships went back to Riz, right? Eventually heard of the conflict that, of course, there was communicating telepathically that was going on, but the commander of the fleet convinced them that everything was under control because they made their cycle, and if they would be caught within this solar system, moving in and out of it counterclockwise, and that their greatest fear was the asteroid belt that was created in between Mercury, Venus, let's say Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. In between there's an asteroid belt of asteroids moving in the opposite directions, and that was their biggest fear because that was created by that breaking off pieces, the lower part, as they say, of Tamak, and if they could keep that under control, they would have no problem. So ships was sent to protect this solar system. right? The message came back that Nibiru was no longer in danger, was under control, right? And that the aggressors, the 11 aggressors that came out from Tiamat was eliminated, and the 4 ships of the Meldic or Vulcans was eliminated, and that one ship that crashed down was not their concern. They crashed down, went into the water, and they began to germinate in the water, and of course moved on Earth. Eventually, as you see ancient primitive man, they speak about him being coming out of the water and then coming on land. They give him all kind of allergies and fungi, all kind of names. The atmosphere was conducive, but that was way after when the planet was set. That was way after the fall of the ice age and the landslide. That other story about man and the atmosphere being with ammonia, etc. That's another story of another kind of life form. But that life form was in the water because of that crash down. Right? And they do some mathematics now. They do mathematics, and they base these mathematics on the distance of the sun and certain other formulas, and it proves by 0, 2, 3, 4, right, times 2, 3, 4 to the distance of the sun that there was definitely another planet that lived within the solar system and has something to do with asteroids, right? And that is that planet Meldic, or Vulcan as it's called on present-day television. The bowl of Genesis 9 that the Elohim made a covenant with Noah with was a mothership. They said you'll place the bowl, Crystal City, light hits it and it gives off a rainbow effect because it hits a crystal. And if you look through a crystal, you see, so we'll place a bow in the sky as a covenant with you because you are perfect in your generation and that you are a new Adam. For all times with your generation, that bow was the mothership. The mother plane, Honorable Elijah Muhammad called it. Also called Nibiru, manned by the son of Enki, Murdoch. You saw that? That was this one. That was this Nibiru. There was many ships called Nibiru, just like the United States has ships, and they call it the USA 412, let's say. And that abbreviates United States of America 412. You understand that? Nibiru is a star fleet, the large ship that launches from Risk. Risk is the 8th planet in a 3-sun galaxy called Ilium. The Quran refers to it as Ilium. The Torah refers to the deity over it as El Elyon. And even Baal, a descendant from Anu, named one of his sons, Ilion or Ilion, and he became known as El. If you write the name Babylon, you see that Babylon really spells Bab-Elon.
Teach that truth, bro.
Bring it out, bro.
Y-L-O-N. Now, you have heard over the years, Bab means Bab of El, and of course, the word Babel. Door to El or confusion, right? But today, on this September the 8th, 1993, is the first time you're going to hear it being used this way. The door to Ilion, the door to the highest. But in due time, people will start to pick it up the way they did the word history and reverse the word dog backward and get the word God and say they came up with it, it didn't come from me. All right? So when they got down to earth, which is in your Bible, as Yahweh came down to see what they were doing, he found out that instead of Enki doing what his father and the people of that galaxy called Elohim or Anunnaki, ki is an ancient word for earth. Ki, but it doesn't mean earth, it means Ki-O, which is G-E-O, Geo, where you get geology,
Wake him up, wake him
geography,
up. Teach that truth, bro.
geometry, This is the ancient word from the ancient Sumer, S-U-M-E-R, not S-U-M-M-U-R or A-R, Sumar. And this is not Mecca. That was way after when those beings came down to Mecca, 200 of them. This is not Mecca. They came down, ported right in the Arabian Sea. They crashed down and set up the land E-Re-Du, which is where you get the word Ard for earth, and it means desert. It's crashed down the Arabian Sea at the point where Iraq is right now, called ancient Babylon, the doorway to Ilion.
Tell the people what time it is. Tell the people what time it is.
You follow that? There the elders came. When they came, the ship was manned and controlled by Enki. After being here, they started to set up earthly empires. In Genesis 6, they started having sex with earthly women, Hindus who had descended here, that in their eyes were very beautiful women. But in that day and time, the planet Earth was full of all types of creatures. Mermaids, which they've recently found a body of. Bigfoot called Shaggy, which came from the constellation of Orion. Unicorns. They had all kind of creatures that came from other galaxies. Some were laboratory experiments. This was 25 billion years ago. Some people one day would catch up to this information and realize who was walking in this day and time with them. Go back. When the Beryl coming from Ilion in the Quran, veered to the left off of its orbit, because as it passed the planet, it began to wallop by an explosion called an electrical storm on it. Neptune is the planet. You call it Neptune today. So it swung off its orbit and it bounced into a planet. There was a part of your galaxy called the lost planet, scientists say. Well, we know there's another planet out there because of the way your planet moves, the way your galaxy moves. Yet there was another planet. It was knocked out of its orbit by this crash of this tremendous ship called Nibiru. All right? Manning 144,000 beings from Risk side of it. And it was on a launch to find minerals and resources on other planets, not coming into Earth's atmosphere this time. It had visited Earth's atmosphere thousands of times. Wasn't no planet Earth yet. It was called Tamat then. It was twice the size of this. 3 times, actually. They had visited it many times, but Mars had life, Venus had life, Jupiter had life, and the moon, Shishki, they called it, Shishki, S-H, you write it out, you see it, you can look it up, you don't believe me. Shishki was later to be called King Gu, K-I-N-G, that's another name they gave it later, had life. Mars, you know, had life. They're now revealing it. It wasn't on its way here. It knew the resources there. It knew that Kamat, which is presently Earth, had resources they could use. They were venturing off into the universe, finding more planets that had resources that were not depleting them, like in their galaxy. A very small planet that looked at risk. But in this particular flight, 1,300 hours on a Friday of your time. The ship got thrown off course by an electrical storm on Neptune. Bumped into Vulcan, splitting Vulcan into asteroids. And a part of it shot off into space, becoming known as the lost planet. Vulcan, or the troglodytes, or the sea beings who live in the water, assuming that this was an attack, launched out 4 ships to attack the ship Nibiru. Those 4 ships manned by 4 angelic beings, as they would call them, or crew of them, you follow? Could not attack Nibiru because Nibiru was set up with 4 magnetic force fields sitting around it because of the tetrahedron science of magnetism. It's of course, you know, it's this symbol like this. Right? This will get more apparent as I teach it. Don't lean on it. As I reveal this, and the scientists get ahead of it, they're going to try to catch up with you. So let's stay ahead of them. If you don't believe me, then you go listen to them. Go listen to read the science monitors. They're waiting to hear what I got to say. This is going to be the first tape that goes out with it. They're going to be flipped out with it. Then they're going to know what's happening. Me there traveling north, south, east, west. Could not, by continuously penetrate, speeding up the electrical cycle. I thought a magnet is not something in the metal, it's something that the metal can conduct magnetism through the 19.5 angle of energy and the speed of light.
That's right, brother. Truth or truth.
Would not be able, could not penetrate. So it was caught in a magnetic pool because the Nibiru, the ship, set up a force field and locked it. And now these tremendous, massive ships that were set out to attack Nibiru were caught in its sphere and traveled along with it. Communication was trying to be set up from Nibiru to the ships to let them know that it was an accident. But because it bounced off of it, it damaged the part of it. Communication was bad. Nibiru was wobbling. As it moved on, past Saturn, it bumped into the planet of Saturn, Titan. That's the planet of Saturn. It's called Titan. And it caused a necklace to be formed around Saturn. A necklace. The ring of Saturn is not a ring. It is a massive amount of small planets. This will be revealed. As sure as I'm teaching you right now, this will come out.
Tell it like it is.
Bumped into Titan and started a revolving and crashed and smashed into many other planets and destroyed the 7 moons of Saturn. The devil claimed this planet as his own Saturn. You follow that? And then it went on. I'll keep on going as long as you keep on writing. All right? And as it moved on with its 4 planets, following it now, it veered in towards your solar system. It was now had moved off of its own orbit, which would have been 25,920 years, into now up to a 3,600 year orbit, and it's moving. These ships are moving in direction, opposite directions, and caught in this. This is twice, 10 times the size of this. This is bigger than Earth today. And Earth is 7,926 miles in diameter. That thing was bigger than that. Right? This is 8,970 miles in diameter alone. Here's Tamak. As they're spinning and moving, this planet or this ship from the Vulcans goes straight and hits the planet, shattering it. And as this here, as Nibiru begins to pass planet Tamak, the other, this is the north wind, that's how they refer to them in those days. The other, which is the west wind, or the east wind, let's make it easier, spun as this planet had already been hit and been broken up into asteroids moving counterclockwise. Why does the asteroid belt in the middle of your solar system moving counterclockwise that causes so many disturbances, so much fear of hitting this planet? Do some research. Then this began to close and was spinning. This planet Tamat, as it got hit, shattered pieces, went on, moving in the opposite direction, counterclockwise. Tamat began to spin as the other wing hit, smacked right into it, and penetrated a hole through it. You follow that? Nibiru went on to 3,600. Their cycle came back through while this planet was wobbling like this. And life form on it was dying. It resulted in ice ages, landslides, and beings on the planet were dying. The elders launched out 4 angelic beings called the 4 angels at the 4 corners of the earth to hold the winds. It's in your Bible. Right? And they tracked planet Key, as they called it then, because of the geological, geomathematical, geometric, all the science is going to be needed to survive the planet. This is before Earth people here were born here. The beings living on here. Right? They trapped it. By now it had formed a hole straight through it. And the sun was there, Apsu. They referred to it as Ki, not Tamat. No longer. Tamat was another name there for evil. Because they thought it, by crashing into it, it could have endangered. You understand how it happened. And they set up this science. You draw a triangle. You follow. Put your tetrahedron lines in the center. Planet is trapped right in here. The holes penetrate from here to there. With me?
Yeah, we with you, brother. Teach.
A ship there, a ship there, and a ship there. Equal distance from this. Like that is. If I put this where it belongs, it would be right here. And that would be right there. Nope, no lower, right? Right there. You with me?
That's right, brother. Sit down, brother. All right, brother.
Keep your planet in its orbit. Created centrifugal and centrifugal forces to lock the planet in place. You follow that? The Bible refers to them as the 4 angels of the 4 corners of the winds. You heard that before? Right? And now you're mathematically in orbit. The next fear was when the planet, because it was wobbling and moving, is in direct direction with the sun, what would happen? Blow it up. So they, through that code, they put a reflecting mirror from the ship, and the ship they sent up was a crystal city. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad called it the mother plane. And it sits right over the opposite pole from where the tetrahedron sign pulls on this side. It's on the opposite side. And it sits there. And then these 4 ships pull back further out, and the planet is safe. It's now ready to be mined again. It was now ready for various life forms. So they started transporting life forms here. The content with the beings here did not have any intelligence, and they would not be able to sustain the planet. They had to learn sciences because your ozone was going to deplete. The atmosphere was going to go bad. The sun was getting closer because it was now slightly off your orbit. The planet Earth is slightly off its orbit. They had to set this planet up, so they started transporting beings here. 2 of the ships did one. The 3rd one finally crashed in. The last ship, or what you call the west wind, these beings here from Vulcan got picked up by Nibiru and educated by them to be informed. They showed them screens of the flight and how it happened and how it was not done intentionally. You follow that? And these beings were transported here to Earth and was put in the seas here on this beautiful planet. So rich with minerals. You follow that? And they lived in the seas here. Descendancy. Other plant beings came, planted germs in the water that would eventually become amoebas and algae because the planet was set once the fire stopped. How did it all happen, you say? Well, it goes back a little further. It goes back to the circle and the square. Putting the circle in the square, we get the hydrogen and the helium. You take the circle, cut it into 4 pieces of pie, lift one piece of pie, namely this piece, the upper right-hand piece when you're facing it, and it becomes the bottom left-hand side. That's this. Move it down. You see it? Vice versa, hydrogen. Do the opposite direction, helium. H1, He. What is helium? A substance, when it burns, it gives off hydrogen. This was long before this incident. This happened 93 billion years ago when the sun, Apsu, was created. That's how the Enumu Ilias picks up. When on high, before things were named. It's starting at the creation of the sun. So you know that the tablets, the 7 tablets of the Enumu Ilias was put together about the birth of your university youth. How to read them, how to decipher them, they don't know. That's why I'm here. Because 7 tablets represent the opening of the 7 seals at the end. I told people that the 7 seals were the 7 scriptures because the 7 scriptures are in the Enumu Ilias. And it says when this is open, no man will be able to close it. Once this information is revealed, and as it's starting to open your heart, now the Abraham story will never be the same.